So I am a psychotherapist. I originally trained in psychoanalytic, but found it incredibly punitive. And thought it was rather depressing that Freud thought it was as good as it was going to get was that you just weren't depressed, and really felt that was quite a miserable, and unfulfilling perspective. So I changed modalities and I trained and did a master's in something called psychosynthesis, which is a psychospiritual psychology and really holds in different pillars that whilst there is pathology and neuroticism, that is what sort of mental health umbrellas, I guess. People that get wrongly put into that category often are more in existential crisis, that it's more around them questioning life's meaning, purpose, and value. And it can look like suicide ideation, but really it's a loss of self and a loss of connection to self. So whilst a lot of mental health recordings, if we refer to the data like you said, we are wrongly getting recorded under pathology, when really what people are experiencing is a loss of connection to self, and do not know that there is a way to self-connect. Instead, they're labeled, they then identify with that label, and then lose self even more. I think I came to psychotherapy from being in the client chair. I would say I probably had what some would term as a breakdown in my early 20s, what I would now redefine as a breakthrough that just happened to be rather messy. And what I'm now focused on is around understanding that mental health, it's too broad a term. I agree with you. I think it needs a rebrand, because under mental health, there is all the way on one end, which is like the normal existential anxieties of what it means to be human, that actually we are having a human experience. And then underneath the same umbrella, people tend to think of like people in straitjackets, and it's so broad and so labelized that people get lost in itself in trying to even have conversations around it, or trying to understand what level of support they may need. So I now am sort of focused more within, as part of the nervous system economy, which is what Shannon is founded. It's understanding that mental health isn't just mind, but actually it's the loss of connection from the wholeness of what it means to be human. It's the nervous system that often is out of sync. And so actually supporting someone's nervous system can alter the way they see the world. We know that if someone is in a fight or flight state, the way they just perceive the world is going to be very different than if their nervous system is actually regulated and given what the nervous system needs, and not just what the thinking brain thinks it needs. But also, I come at it from something called QHE. So it's the lens of longevity, but longevity not in just living a longer life for the sake of it. It's about what is the quality of the life you're living, because what's the point of living longer if the quality of your human experience, or the people are not even connected to the fact that they are having a human experience, and that a human experience doesn't mean that it's all dopamine, all pleasure, and everyone's chasing happiness, which is where I think why so many people are now struggling, because we've forgotten what we actually even are as human beings, especially when I promise I won't go into a side rant because it's easy to, with the rise of AI and with the rise of now where we are competing with algorithms. And if we forget that we're human and we start feeling ashamed because we can't do all the amazing things that ChatGPT can do, or if we start humanizing AI because it presents incredibly humanized, at the same time we're humanizing AI, we're dehumanizing each other more and more as humans. So I'm very much about raising awareness and psychoeducation. A lot of what I do is I present to corporations, present to different organizations, education systems. And it's not that I teach the theory that I've learned as a therapist, but I give insight that I think we should all have access to. And that a lot of the time reduces shame, because when people understand what they really are as human beings, a lot of it is like, oh, I thought there was something wrong with me because I didn't know X, Y, Z. Or actually, your depression, I don't think is depression in the clinical sense that you've been diagnosed. I think that you're disconnected from self. And this is about your sense of meaning, purpose, and value of having this human experience. I take that information and I try to translate it so people have access to it. Because unless they go to therapy, it's not taught in schools in the UK. It's, social media is a platform for self-awareness, but it's not contained. It's not monitored. And so what I'm seeing a lot with my clients is a lot of dysregulated people who are just caught in a shame cycle because they've read all the self-help books, but nothing's changed. And actually, it's about the co-regulation of having somebody to be able to connect with. So not just self-help books, but also be able to understand life through a lens that isn't so prescriptive as mental health currently is. In a nutshell.